So I received this beautiful heartstring from Zarathustra a couple days ago, and I'd like to read it, and then we'll see what happens from there. The title is, You Are Flaming Spirits, One with the Eternal. Now before I begin, many of you know Zarathustra is really the same being as Zoroaster. And Zoroastrianism is the religion, if you would like to call it that, that was in effect founded by Zarathustra or Zoroaster. And within that spiritual lineage and movement, God was seen as manifest within fire. And so they meditated on fire. They saw the fire within themselves as an aspect of God within. And this fire is the unfed flame, what's called the unfed flame, the Maxon light. It's unfed because it is eternal. It doesn't require substance to burn. It is the very essence of God as fire and light. So many of us were embodied during that time of Zarathustra's coming to the earth as a messenger, as really an avatar for that epoch of time, that time period, in what is now Iran, Persia. So there are great initiates that lived at that time, supported him in his work, and the culture that was founded and expanded in that region was great because of his fire and his being. And when we were here a year ago in January, Zara here gave a presentation on Zarathustra that was very wonderful, and we learned more about him and what transpired during that time. So if you weren't here for that session, you could go back and hear her talk, which is, I believe, on our website somewhere, and you can just Google, within our website you can do a search and listen to that. So he says, fiery hearts of love wisdom, you are flaming spirits, one with the eternal. You have ever been spirits of light. Your real self has always been one with the divine. When you are aflame with zeal for the victory of your soul's oneness with God, to be sustained throughout each day, the inner glow of your heart becomes more pronounced. This is not the fanaticism of a religious zealot. It is the spiritual fervor of a saint, bred to be the bride of Christ, the Shakti of the immutable One. To turn up the heat within takes resolve, courage, and constancy. Your resolve is your mooring to the path through your will united with God's. Your constancy is your dedication manifest through daily practice, no matter what is swirling around in the orbit of your soul and its course around the sun of your presence. Your courage is your fervor to proceed forward victoriously because you have placed your trust in the heart of the eternal wayshower. Dearest ones, though the path is not always easy or even logical to the carnal mind, It is simple in terms of what it takes to be successful. A fiery mien and a can-do spirit. The Magi were aware of the heavenly signs portending the birth of the one sent, the Messiah. Yet it took even for them a supernal sacrifice to prepare for their trek to the place prepared, and then to journey from afar to acknowledge the Messiah come and to bestow their gifts, both physical and spiritual. You too have been required to make numerous sacrifices and treks to distant lands, and now to higher states of fiery awareness in God's light world. The courageous do not stop until each mission is fulfilled with joy, until each assignment is adequately met with superior planning and noble execution, while always attentive to the higher voice of divine reason. As you study sacred scriptures, realize that they are only a starting point for your own self-realization, only a historical record of God's plan fulfilled, yet also stained with many other ignoble choices and acts along the way. To realize your higher fiery nature, know the true pleasure of divine work and the simple bliss of direct service to your divine mentor. An assignment ignored is an opportunity for advancement lost for a cycle. An initiation welcomed and a responsibility accepted leads you directly to both greater spiritual service as well as a more fruitful and fulfilled inner life. O fiery spirits, look up to behold a new vision of Ezekiel come in a chariot of fire, along with Ahura Mazda, the Ancient of Days, to bless you who are ready for new fiery initiations and sacred bestowals of celestial light. Behold the coming of his sacred retinue to this continent of Australia, this nation, to bring a transcendent trial by fire, the fire of immortal light. These saints now stand around this company to accelerate your hearts and your mindful meditations on the true elixir of life, the Maxon light. O Sanat Kumara, blaze forth your eternal fire in the midst of this circle of your saints upon earth. O Venus, initiate them in divine love, even as your angels safeguard their souls and secure their spirits in your divine love essence this day. Blaze, O blaze, the sacred fire throughout Geelong, Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, and Terra, until all are free in the light and liberated in your spiritual fire. So be it. It is finished. I am Zarathustra. Amen. As we were singing to Ganesh, I saw hundreds of giant elephants or representations of Ganesh from the east, from where we are near Melbourne, here in Geelong, almost stampeding across Australia from east to west and bringing divine light and illumination. And guess who is riding on top of the elephants? Zarathustra, multiplied many, many times over. And he was distributing fire. In fact, he had like this Maxon light that he held in his hands in front of him. And as the elephants were marching or walking very fast across the continent, he was just going whew, and flinging whew, these flames of sacred fire to burn up records, to transmute darkness, and simultaneously to be there to initiate souls who are ready for higher wisdom. So I thought it was pretty funny that he used the occasion of this bhajan to Ganesh to do this spiritual work before he released his outer heartstream, which always seems to contain the word fire many times, right? Fire, fire, fire. When we understand that we are born of fire and that we will return to fire, it does make us a little more fiery. And he addresses us, oh, fiery spirits. And I like the ending with the blaze, oh, blaze, the sacred fire throughout Geelong, Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, and Terra. Terra, another name for the earth. Until all are free in the light and liberated in your spiritual fire. So this Maxon light, the unfed flame, we've been told is upon an altar in every retreat, every etheric retreat of the Great White Brotherhood across our globe in the etheric planes of our earth. A representation of the Maxon light. In other words, there is this sacred fire that burns there in every retreat of the Brotherhood. Why? Because it is a symbol of God as fire, as eternal fire. And when we come to that realization that we have that same fire within us, we call it the threefold flame, the fleur de lis, in the secret chamber of our hearts, when we realize and start to feel that actual flame igniting our spirit with joy and love and camaraderie and excitement and that French word that I love to say, elan, E-L-A-N, with a little deal over the A. When we have that, our lives become just so exciting, right? There's never a dull moment. Fire transmutes. Fire gets you off your seat. you know, when you're, they talk about being on the hot seat. If you're on the hot seat, you have to work, right? You have to get active instead of sitting on the couch. So fire is really a good thing, and transmutation affords us an opportunity to expand consciousness, to grow, to do alchemy. The fire of transmutation is one of the key elements in all alchemy. And what is alchemy? It's divine love practically applied, Saint Germain says. The path of alchemy is the science of divine love practically applied in our lives. So the masters desire practical people, not woo-woo, wishy-washy space cadets who walk around thinking about God all the time but never doing any work. The initiates are the ones who work. They are active. They apply the true principles and values that they've learned in the science of spirit in their daily lives. They work. So Zarathustra is a good friend of El Morya. El Morya was one of the three wise men. He was Melchior. Where did Melchior come from? Does anybody know? What area did he live in? Iran, Persia. El Morya came from that same area. So he really is within his greater being a part of that same lineage of Zarathustra. And it's very possible that they knew each other and that El Morya was initiated by him in a previous life. We know El Morya was Akbar, a Muslim who married a Hindu. And I think I mentioned I don't know if it was yesterday or before. Oh, I think it was in the book talk. I mentioned the movie Jodha Akbar. Fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, please see it. Jodha Akbar. Have you seen it? Oh, you got to see it. It's great. You will love it. Anybody from a Muslim tradition, especially from Iran, when you see Jodha Akbar, you'll just smile. It's such a beautiful movie.